In this video, we are going to discuss the three forms of linear equations. We started out the year by focusing on slope-intercept equations. We then transitioned to point-slope, and today we're going to talk about standard form equations. So in the activity with fair share on chores, we focused on, or the equation we wrote was that we had 2 girls times the amount of time they would work plus 3 boys times the amount of time they would work, and that needed to equal 10 hours. And so in this format where x and y were together on the left side with coefficients in front and 10 left on the right side by itself, this is another way that we can represent linear equations. And a, b, and c are just integers or all real numbers. They could be decimals or fractions. They don't have to just be integers, which are positive and negatives. And here's an example. So those are again of our examples, and so let's go ahead and take a look at how these equations are similar and different from each other, and how if I give you one version, I could ask you to convert to another one, and how that might work. So if we started with the equation here in example number 1, it says y minus 6 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 5. You may or may not have a printed copy of this in the year 2020. I did not provide a PDF of this for you or a printed worksheet. There is a PDF in Schoology, so if you do not have this this document printed, you can print it yourself, or you can just work out these 6 examples on notebook paper. If you need to hit pause to get notebook paper, please do so at this time. All right, now that you have notebook paper or the worksheet itself and you're ready to work it out, let's go for it. So you're going to write down this example on your paper. Y minus 6 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 5. We're being asked to convert this to slope-intercept form. We've already done this, so let's take a look. Remember, slope-intercept, we need y all by itself. Well, let's get rid of these parentheses by distributing the 2 times x and 2 times 5. So y minus 6 equals 2x plus 10. Last step, let's get rid of this negative 6, so let's add 6 to both sides. I'll add the 6 to the 10, as they would be like terms over here. Leaves me with y by myself, and 2x equals, or 10 plus 6 is 16. So y equals 2x plus 16. That's in slope-intercept form. On example number 2, it says to rewrite this equation in standard form. And again, standard form is when x and y are on the same side, the left side, all by themselves. So I have this equation again. This is what you're writing down on your paper. Y equals 3x plus 4. So there's only one step involved. I need this 3x over on the left side. So if I want to move that term, 3x, I need to subtract it over. So it cancels over here like I'd like. Now these are not like terms, so I'm simply going to rewrite it as negative 3x plus y equals, and what I have left here is 4. On example number 3, I want to take this point-slope equation and write it in standard form. Y plus 4 equals 1/2 times the quantity x minus 6. So again, if I want this in standard form, I'd first need to still distribute and get rid of the parentheses here. So I have y plus 4 equals 1/2 x, and half of negative 6 is negative 3. So I have 2 steps left. What I might go ahead and do first is subtract 4 from both sides, because it has this 3 that it can join over here. So if I subtract the 4, I have my y equals 1/2. Let's clean that up a little bit. What I have here is y equals 1/2 x, and negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Now, this is slope-intercept form, okay? So now to go to standard form, I'm simply going to move this 1/2 x term over to the left side, okay, following the equal signs there. So it's gone here on the right. Now I have negative 1/2 x plus y bring down my equal sign, and I have a negative 7 left over here. You will learn some more specific rules about standard form as you go into future classes, and I think I talk about this in some of your notes as we go through the class period. But conventionally, you write your x term first, and then there's some other rules that you have to follow, but you'll learn about those when you cover them in the future. All right, to example number 4, moving right along here, we have 2x minus 4y equals 20. And we want to write in slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and write down 2x minus 4y equals 20. And we want to get y by itself, so we're going to subtract the 2x over. And that leaves us with negative 4y equals negative 2x plus 20. The last step here to get rid of this negative 4, remember it's attached to y by multiplication. The opposite of that is going to be to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. To do that, we're going to divide this out into 2 different parts. So 2 divided by 4 leaves us with a positive 1/2 coefficient in front of x. And then 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. So let me circle here how we divided that out. We took the 2 divided by the 4. And we also took the 20 divided by the 4. So we just divided into both terms to get it into slope-intercept form. So on this last example here, or on the next example, I kind of take you through a specific case here. And it says this conversation might be a little bit tricky if we're trying to convert slope-intercept form or standard form to point slope. And what tricky is about that is that, as you know, we've talked about it, there's an infinite amount of point slope equations for linear because there's an infinite amount of points on a line. So to make sure that we're all getting the same answer, I'm going to have to specify which point to use. So I'm always going to tell you like what x to focus on. And so let's take a look at this problem. So if I told you that y equals 3x plus 5 and I want it in point slope, I'm going to first have to say, hey, I want the particular point that involves x equals 2. And so to focus on that, we're going to have to find out the y coordinate. And so if I already have the equation in slope-intercept form, that's easy enough. Take the x that I gave you, plug it in for x in the y equals mx plus b equation. Just simplify it down, and now you know your y coordinate. So the ordered pair that we're using is 2, 11. Okay, because I told you that 2 you solved for the 11. So to write it in point slope form, I know that my slope is 3. M equals 3 from the equation that I was given, and now my point is 211. And as you know, your equation for point slope is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So plug in your m, plug in your coordinate x and y. Remember, these ordered pairs are x comma y, so don't get confused when plugging those in. So just 2 examples to practice with that. On example number 5, I have y equals 4x minus 8. And again, I'm telling you that x equals 5 here. So if we look at the example above and kind of follow those steps, I'm first going to plug in 5 for x so I can find the ordered pair that I need to use for point slope. So I have the 5, but I don't know this point here. So I'm going to say y equals 4 times 5 minus 8. So 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 8 is 12. So that's my work to find my ordered pair. If I look back at my original equation, I can see that my m is 4. So now that I have a slope and a point, I can write my equation as y minus 12 equals 4 times the quantity x minus 5. So as soon as you find that ordered pair, it kind of plugs in quite nicely for you. Now, Sometimes the ordered pair doesn't always yield nice numbers to work with. You might get some fractions, and that's okay. On the last example here, it says we want to go to point slope form. It says hint, remember you find that y coordinate in the slope first. Another hint here is, guys and gals, I would like you to focus on slope-intercept form. If you could write this in slope-intercept form, first it'll make that y point come out nicely, and you're going to get the slope immediately. So if I want to write 2x plus 7y equals 28 in slope-intercept form, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to have 7y equals negative 2x plus 28. Divide both sides by 7. And maybe that's a little bit easier to see compared to the one I showed you earlier. So my slope is negative 2/7, and 28 divided by 7 is 4. So if x equals 2, we could look at this then by saying y equals, again, I want my ordered pair. So I have 2, but I don't know what that y is. Y equals negative 2/7 times 2 plus 4. Okay, well, 2 times 2 is 4, so I'm going to have 4/7 plus 4. If you use your calculator, now that I'm looking at my key, I had 32 over 7, but that's going to be a negative 28. So we're going to have 24/7. Because we have a negative 2 here as our slope. So 24/7 is going to be the y coordinate. And if I go back to my y equals mx plus b, my m is negative 2/7. So then my equation would be y minus 24/7 equals negative 2/7 times x minus 2. And that again is my final answer for point slope form. This here was just the slope intercept form that was helping us get our answers.